won't you be omonita? Haridi hey hey, shito de kurulola. Pop song from Japan that I knew. It became famous in the early 60s and was written only 15 years after the atom bombs were exploded on Japan, and Japan dropped out of the Second World War. And it was a hit across the world. It was the #1 in America. And it's about Japan looking up, no longer casting its eyes down, but looking up to a bright new future after the war and becoming its own person again. And I'd never been to Japan, but in 1992 I had the opportunity to go for the first time, and I must say I was so impressed by the place. It was just extraordinary. They seemed to have the best trains, they certainly had the best cars, they had the best stereo systems and so on. And one of the things I thought about them was the attention to detail that they have, the way they sweated the details. The devil was in the detail and they knew it, and that's why Japanese things didn't go wrong. They looked beautiful and they were considered right through to the nth degree, and that's why their ceramics are the best, some of the best in the world. And one of the art forms that I was most impressed with, and I still am, is the art using paper, which is origami. And so I went to look at origami in particular and photograph it. And one place I went to, I photographed a huge pile of origami, which was about, I don't know, 20 or 30 foot high. And here it is. And I made a piece of work that was about 8 foot high out of it. Bit like put it together a bit like a sort of a Scottish kilt. There's the Japanese flag in the top. And here's the origami, you can see. And mostly it's sort of, they make paper cranes and they pile them up like this in a huge, like a sort of a, it was like ready for a bonfire or something, but it's absolutely striking and a massive thing. And then you see children, Japanese children here, sort of praying at the origami, at these paper cranes. And you can also see they put banners on there, and here they've got photographs of ancestors that they stick on there with little prayers attached. Lots of little prayers attached, little messages onto this huge pile of origami. Very impressive. Of course, that pile of origami is in Hiroshima, and it's at the site where the first atomic bomb exploded in August the 6th, 1945. And it's dedicated to a girl who was about 2 at the time, called Sadako Satake. And she lived until 1955, but she appeared to be unharmed after the bomb exploded. She was, but as she grew up, she had lots of, obviously had leukemia and burns on her hands and terrible suffering she was in. And but she made lots of origami cranes. In fact, she made over 1,000. And she became a symbol for to remember the war and also of renewal. And she is honoured there because she died in 1955, and that big pile of origami in Hiroshima is there to not just remember her, but remember the Second World War and the devastation that was caused in Hiroshima and of course Nagasaki. And it was a very moving thing to see, that huge thing. Sadako was born the year I was born, and if she had lived, she'd be about my age now.